destination is on the left.
Got Dave and myself. We want to get back out there and meet as many of you as we can possibly meet. And get the interviews from those of you mainstream media has been ignoring. We're not going to ignore you.
And welcome to episode 10, double digits, of the Love America Tour Love Stream. We got a couple of quick messages. We got a couple of people already in the chat. That's awesome. Welcome aboard. Elise finally made it at the start. Heather loves the intro. I appreciate that. There's a bunch of people that are working behind the scenes, and we're going to get to meet one of them later on today. Jumping right into it, the format of the love stream is going to be changing and kind of evolving in the next couple of weeks as we get some more tricks and stuff like that. The results from the poll that thus far, it's kind of an ongoing thing, have kind of given me some ideas as to what you guys would like to see. And so we're going to try and get as much of that going as we can. I'll get into that a little bit more later. Real quick, the cookbook, the Love America Tour cookbook that Ryan Albrecht is doing is heading up. That is coming along. If you have any recipes that you would like to send in, we would love to have them. Share a piece of yourself. Give us the story behind it too. Let us know. Is it like an old family favorite or a national favorite or just a comfort food of yours that you remember from your childhood that you always liked? We want to try your stuff. So share it and get it into Ryan Albrecht. It's plainsimpleryan@gmail.com. Kind of playing around with an idea of the Love America Tour ambassadors as we kind of are becoming a movement and gaining momentum and speed and size and stuff. So be on the lookout for that. I've written up a couple of drafts. I don't really like the way any of them have turned out, but I am working on that. Reminder, the week of September the 13th through the 19th, I'll be taking off so that so there won't be a Love America Tour live stream on that Wednesday the 16th or the Saturday of the 19th. But we will be back Wednesday the 23rd. Pop that out because I don't know if that even popped in or not, but okay. Also, a couple of the suggestions that we've received in that we're working on, it's looking like there is a way to do the real-time closed caption language translations for the people that are watching that are outside the US and maybe English isn't their primary language. That's going to take some doing, but we think we got a way to do that. Also, I am working on the ability for online guests to see the chat. When Corin and Chad and them come on, they want to see the chat. And the reason that's been a big thing is I've heard a lot of feedback that that's something you guys really enjoy about the 3 Alarm comics. What's standing in the way is that Love America Tour is actually kind of going pro, if you will, and it's become a business, and it's all about making this documentary and this docuseries. So we have editors and other people, and it's like the love stream isn't the end product per se. It can continue on, and even some of this stuff can be used in the final product. So the editor's got to have individual audio recordings of each person, and Zoom does that, but StreamYards, which is what 3 Alarm Comics use, it doesn't. And I'm in contact with both of these, trying to figure out a way to get it worked around, and we think we are onto it, but this stuff takes time and testing, so bear with me. I am working on it. We will get there. Let's see what we got. Yes, please, the chat. Okay, fine, the chat. Let's do that. Whoop. That we can do. And yeah, if you're interested in being an ambassador, go ahead and send an email to streaming@loveamericatour.today, and and I'll keep a list of people that are interested in that. You can also, as an alternative, you can DM me on Twitter. I'll keep a list of people, but like I said, that's kind of a thing that's in progress. It's not finished yet. It's not complete. It's not quite ready. So that's pretty much it for the announcements. I do want to remind you that the GoFundMe is done. It's closed off. We did see a couple of tweets. Well, where are we going to donate if we wanted to donate? If you absolutely cannot help yourself, you can, during a live stream, go to streamlabs.com/loveamericatour and donate a couple of bucks. Put a message. It pops up on the screen, plays a little sound. It's pretty cute. But if it's not about that, it's not about the donations. If you absolutely can't help yourself, that's how you do it. But what we're more interested in is if you know somebody that's positive all the time and would be a good addition to the Lat family, or if you know somebody that could use some positivity in their life, invite them. Let's get them into the Lat family. Let's get the group growing, becoming bigger, becoming more positive together. And in that light, I am going to attempt to do something just a little bit different as we go into the positivity segment. What I want you to do is remember we've kind of talked about the words that we use when even when just ourselves, and words are important. Words can make a ginormous difference. Just how you think about things. And we talked about the circle of concern. We've talked about the circle of influence. We've talked about the circle of control. And we've talked about shrinking your circle of concern and not living in that circle of concern. What you have to do is you have to starve it and take the time to process the thoughts. And I mean, because we're bombarded all the time. News, people, social media, TV, it's always, there's something to react to with almost without end. And you have to take time and unplug from that and let your mind process. Take some deep breaths. Get out into nature if you can. If you can't, find something that works for you and just take time to process those thoughts. And with that, you can start to think about things like, how can I move this concern into my circle of influence so that I'm living in my circle of influence and expanding that instead of the worries and fears and anxieties from living in the circle of concern. And the difference is, let's take a look at two different thoughts. I'm really going to kind of recap what I tried to do last week, or Saturday. We didn't have a lot of time. So you can take a look at something happens that's not quite so positive, you don't quite like, and there's two ways that you can look at this. And even internally, even thinking to yourself, the difference in these words makes a huge difference. What we're kind of conditioned to do is ask a question like, why is this always happening to me? And that takes all your power away. That makes you helpless. Why is this always happening to me? Makes you very reactive, and you're living in that circle of concern, and it kind of makes you feel powerless to do anything about it. Whereas if you ask yourself, how can I make this better? Your thought processes are still kind of in the same way. How do I make this better? Gives you power, though. It empowers you to make a difference in your own life. And it's like the things that we're conditioned to say of, I don't have a choice. Yes, you do. You do so have a choice. So how can we make this better? One, be proactive. I touched on this a little bit last time. My father used to tell me that inaction is an action. And that means that whether you decide to or not, if you fail to make a decision as to what you're going to do and therefore you do nothing, that's the exact same as deciding to do nothing. So try new things. Be proactive. If you're not sure what to do, try new things, form new connections, meet new people. Corin showed us how. Hey, where were you born? How did you get here? What do you do for a living? Do you enjoy it? What kind of things do you like? What was that like? And that's how you can move. You can be proactive into moving into your circle of influence. Have a vision, have a goal, have a destination, and this will help later on when we start learning how to visualize. Let's say that you're what you want more than anything else is a new car. Don't just think about having a new car. What color is it? What year? What model? What stuff is custom on it? What do you have, a custom paint job? Is it a standard? Is it an automatic? What's it going to be like to drive? And actually look at the back of your hands. Seriously, look at the back of your hands. And when you visualize, see yourself in that car. Not that you're going to have it later, but that you have it now. And take 2 or 3 minutes and just wrap your hands around the steering wheel and let the joy of being in your dream car, it doesn't have to be that, it could be a dream house, dream job. That's how you go about doing it. And I'm seeing a whole lot of positivity in the chat. And one thing Jen Lyle says is, I want my knuckles tattooed. Okay, so in that case, Jen, yes, Orville, this does come from The Secret. I'm also pulling very heavily from Stephen Covey and an article by C.J. Golding. But in your case, Jen, would you using that as an example with the knuckles tattooed, take a look at your hands and see the tattoos that you want. Be specific. And close your eyes and see those tattoos on your hand. Imagine getting them. The Dorenzo family vision boards are great tools also. I promise I'm going to get into that stuff. But at the moment where we're at is getting out of that circle of concern where you're helpless and things are just happening to you and it's almost like you're a bystander in your own life, and moving into that circle of influence where you do have a measure of control and you do have a choice. So have a vision, have a goal, have a destination. Yeah, Bonnie says, even draw them on there. This is good. This is really good stuff. This is how you move from the negative to the positive. Also, filter the information that you take in. Not all information out there is useful or helpful for that matter. You gotta kind of take a break every now and again and be careful of what you allow into your mind. Consistency is another thing. Your definition of who you are should match your actions. And you want to get to where you're honest with yourself about who you are, and who you are is beautiful. It's not a matter of we've all got to be the same and you have to be a certain way, but you do have to kind of fall in love with yourself. Know yourself, and who you are is okay. That is you are you, and that is exactly who you are supposed to be. Everything happens for a reason, and if you take control of it by living in your circle of influence and saying, how can I make this better, or how can I make this the way I want it, rather than living in your circle of concern, and why does this always happen to me, you will find that you do have more control. Your circle of influence will expand. Your circle of control will expand. And one recommendation that I would do is, once you start to increase your influence, use that influence to bring out the best in others. That is one of the fastest ways and most surefire ways to get happiness, is to give it, so that you are helping people. Homework for today, and then we're going to knock off for a full day. For a full day, starting tomorrow, listen to your language and the language of the people around you. And how often do you use or hear reactive language? There's nothing I can do about it. I don't have a choice. Why is this happening to me? That kind of thing. And, if only, I can't, that kind of thing. And use those observations just from tomorrow to help you redirect that energy from your circle of concern into your circle of influence, and start taking reactive to proactive, and from concern to influence. So I'm going to stop on that for a second. I'm going to get into the chat here. I have to start putting all of the things we learn here into action. I honestly feel better and don't automatically look at the negative side first. Julie, that's the first step. That is the first step. That is absolutely terrific. I'm trying to figure out, because I love that suggestion, Leanna. Yes, having your goals be reasonable yet make you stretch is important. Write them down, make goal posters, put it somewhere where you will see it every day and pray over it. That is absolutely correct. Science, and this is also drawing from The Secret. It's available on Netflix if you'd like to, or the DVD's available for a little less than $5. But you find out that science has determined that thoughts have frequencies, and positive thoughts that generate positive emotions are much, much stronger. So you definitely want to get into that more so than some of the other deals. Pardon me while I start the Zoom up. And our guest today is Michelle Arwood, and you may have seen her on Twitter under Purple Fuzz. But what she does, we're going to let her talk about what she does behind the scenes, completely behind the scenes. It's kind of a thankless job. You guys have actually seen some of the stuff that she's done, and if you've been on here as a follow-up interview, odds are that you've spoken to her. But we're going to have her on, and we're going to learn a little bit about what she does. And I love the chat. I've got to tell you, I absolutely love what's happening in chat. But we're going to go right into it here. Just 1 second. Hello, Michelle.
Howdy, howdy.
I forgot to do that. There. And I also forgot to do that. But now it's done. How are you doing tonight, Michelle?
I am absolutely fantastic. How are you?
I am doing all right. I have got to bring up the volume a little bit.
You look nice and clean shaven.
Well, the thing said that they wanted to see stubble, and I didn't shave as close as I did last time. Do you remember how we did with the microphone a little bit ago?
Yep.
Can you bring it back up just a smidge?
I can do that.
And then we'll get into it.
All right, how's that?
That's a little bit better. I haven't seen anything in the chat about whether or not the folks can hear you or can't hear you, so we're going to assume that they can.
Okay.
So why don't you tell us? I obviously know what you do behind the scenes, but why don't you go ahead and tell us what you're up to?
Oh, what do I do for you? I wrangle cats.
You do?
I try to track down people using Twitter handles, put them with names, associate them with videos and interviews so that we can reach out and schedule follow-up interviews with everybody.
And I'm telling you, that makes the difference between me being able to pull this off and not being able to pull this off in large part. And you know, you guys, the people that are volunteering behind the scenes don't get nearly enough credit, especially since I've put more on you as of late.
Yes.
As we are moving into some of the other things that I didn't get into, I wanted to save them for this segment. We are going to start having some of our international friends come on Wednesdays. I've got to clear it with Benn to see what the legalities are. Do we need a special waiver for international guests, or will the waiver that we have work? And just some stuff that I don't understand that I'll get the okay on. But we're going to start having people from other areas.
I think that's fantastic. I see every week there's more and more people in the chat that are not from the U.S., and this has become literally a global movement.
Yep. So, and that's one of the reasons that we're going to start looking for ambassadors as well. And I've seen some questions about ambassadors. I don't have the answers yet. Okay, I really don't. I'm working on that. Also, though, Michelle has recently started learning a new skill that we're taking advantage of. Why don't you tell people about that?
I am now officially a video editor.
Yes, you are.
And that just ties right in, just like this with accounting.
Well, you actually were the one that did the intro that we watched last live stream for Ryan.
Correct.
And I believe you're working on Brianna's for next Saturday.
Yep, I was doing that earlier today.
And when we had talked a little bit earlier when we were testing out the Zoom, you mentioned something about watching TV and some changes now. Why don't you tell people about that?
Oh my goodness, I have the most appreciation for people that do editing for a living. Taking just a little information that I have from one video each week and condensing it down and trying to find the high points, trying to find the piece that doesn't have static, that doesn't have background noise to use, and just cutting it to fit is a monumental task. Watching TV the other day, I noticed myself, the scene, they're talking, the camera is panning, and the voices are still going. And I'm like, I want to do that. How do I make that happen? So it just changes your perspective.
It does, and I got to be honest with you. When I started live streaming and learning the little bit that I know, and already you know more about video editing than I do.
That's scary.
But well, I'm not a video editor, you know.
No, I'm not either.
But I started watching TV differently, and you get this. So you take like an hour-long video, right? And
Yes.
you're cutting it down to make a minute or a minute and a half of viewable video. And how
Correct.
long does that take?
Oh, hours. It really does, because you want to do the person in the interview justice. To me, it's not just cutting and pasting and making it fit. It's finding the core of the interview. It's finding the highlight. It's finding a high point, the piece that needs to be shared. And you have to go through a lot, and you think you found it, and then you watch another part and you go, well, I like that part too. And so it's a lot of just, you keep narrowing these things down is the only way I can describe my process. You'll have to tell me if it works.
Well, and I seen a tweet come out from Love America tour about the crew that's editing down the 50 to 80 some odd interviews that were an hour a piece. So they've got 80 hours of that, and then a bunch of other footage that's been filmed along the way, plus all of these live streams and the follow-up interviews and all of that. You can imagine having just tried it, what a monumental task that's got to be.
Oh, like I said, an entirely new respect.
And yeah.
And in addition to that, I'm gonna give you some kudos too, because just working with me on the Zoom, on the audio, getting connections correct, just the time and effort and patience that you are putting in that nobody sees in the little things is huge. And kudos to you.
Well, I appreciate that. And every once in a while I'm a very generally private person when it comes to struggles, but I have been trying to show a little bit of that simply because of this positivity tour that we're on, this journey that we're on to go from negative to positive. But yeah, hours. Ben Easterday is like hours and hours and hours and hours. And I'll bet, I mean, good Lord.
Literally, yes, an entirely new appreciation.
I know that the ratio of work hours to viewable hours in the movie industry is way higher. There's a lot more work hours that go into viewable hours in the industry, in the movie industry, than in the live stream industry. And just for the hour and a half, twice a week shows has been 6 days a week, 8 to 12 hours a day. Mm-hmm. And so you can imagine what Corin and Ben and Chad and Artie, I believe, and all of these guys that are working on this, and ladies too, and the monumental task that they've got in front of them.
Oh, I mean, and I went to, I mean, I'm not a plug, but I went to an RTX event in Austin. I think it was last year. This year's got canceled. And I sat in on a behind the scenes programmers panel, the editors, the production team. And at the time, I didn't quite understand it. And they're talking about all the different cameras filming the same thing at the same time, and then merging it to get the voices and catch the right action. And now I'm looking back going, I want to go be there again to pick up all those tidbits.
Knowing if I knew then what I know now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
It is amazing how much goes into it. And I mean, I love the Marvel movies, for instance. I love Stargate. There's a lot of TV that I like to watch, and it's so much different watching it after you've kind of been able to experience the industry a little bit.
Yeah, and we've just barely put our toes in the water.
Yeah, the pros that are actually working on the documentary and the docuseries, guys, hats off to you. Holy smokes, what a job you guys have to do. And we're here to support you in any way that we can.
Hey, I'll do what I can. I can roll B-roll footage from Missouri.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the other things, and I believe that I'm not sure. This came in off the poll that I did. How can we make the live stream better? And somebody recommended, how did they put it? Spreading the love or something along those lines, and getting a list together of volunteer positions that are open, so that people know, what if they don't want to volunteer time, there's like different pieces of equipment or stuff like that might be lying around. So there were some really good ideas that came into the poll. I want to let everybody that's watching know we've paid attention to that. We're going to get to that. It's not going to be immediate, because that kind of thing takes time, especially because all of the people we have to run this by are also the people that are editing and creating the documentary. So it's a small group. It's a small group. So a lot of people looking forward to the documentary. Elise is like, yes, volunteer ops, so want to see this. That is terrific. Guys, if you have any quick questions for Michelle, now would be the time to go ahead and put them in chat. And then here in about 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to get the rest of the guys on, Corin, Chad, Bobby, and we'll get kind of updates on how they've been doing. And if you haven't filled out that poll, I will tweet the link out again immediately following the show. I can't quite do it from here because I don't have enough monitors. I know that may be hard to believe. But we have some other people that have done editing in the chat. Maddie Ringwald, editing anything can be difficult and time consuming. I edit my brother's stories. So there's some people that have dabbled, that understand. Right. Bonnie would like to know how you got involved with the tour. How did you hear about it? What got you started? How did you end up being a volunteer?
It started, Corin put the tweet out early. I sent my email in, and I said, if you happen to be in the Joplin, Missouri area, hoping they might go down I-44, that would love to meet. Honestly, didn't think anything would come of it. Expected them to hit much larger cities than they did. They reached out, said they would like to put me on the route, and I said, well, I'm a huge fan of street art, graffiti. My day-to-day job is so structured that the other side of me has to come out. There's a creative side, there's a colorful side that a lot of people don't know exists to me, just because of what I do for a living. And I just threw it out there and said, hey, I've got a wall, you've got street art, swing by, pop some up. And they did. Okay. And then once they were here, and I saw how Corin conducted himself and how he listens and how he can guide an interview, I started to understand more about where this was going and what this can do to people. And the more I thought about it, I thought, I have no skills to contribute to this, but I feel like I need to do something. And so I reached out to you, Bill, and said, give me a job, give me anything so that I can feel like I've contributed to the cause.
And now you're getting the skills.
And now I'm here.
Speaking of that, the Love America tour, what kind of an effect has that had on you personally since Corin came through the first time, from the very first fundraiser all the way on to what it's kind of becoming now? What kind of an effect has it had on you personally?
I have been trying to focus on positivity in my life anyway. When we have our interviews, I could have gone down the deep and dark path, everything negative that's ever happened in my life. I chose to go along for the ride and answer the questions as they came up organically. So I tried to focus on positivity. I feel that negativity, self-pity, jealousy, these are things that if we allow them, they eat us from the inside out. And so I refuse to go there anymore. And I start every day with positivity. I have a morning routine. I try to share that. I send a tweet out every morning. I find a random affirmation and I kind of spend a moment with it. And then I've decided if it's working for me, I throw it out in the Twitterverse. I do not tag Love American Tour. I did not want to ride the coattails, but I thought if it helps one person, I've done something good.
It helps me every morning. I look for it actually, and then I generally will retweet it. So no, thank you. That really helps because I also have a morning routine, and part of my morning routine has been to check out that affirmation. So real quick, and then we've got another question from the chat. Real quick, sure. Where is it that when it comes down to like the world's against you today and everything that could possibly go wrong does go wrong, where do you draw your positivity from to get the day back on track?
That happens more often than I would like to admit. I have a fairly stressful job. I get hung up in details. So a lot of self-doubt, a lot of introspection, a lot of kicking yourself, a lot of dogging down details. And at some point when you realize it, I think that's the key. You have to be conscious. You have to realize it's happening. As you've said earlier, only you can control yourself. You can't control the events. You can't control anything other than how you are reacting. And it may be so simple as just take a moment, close your eyes, and realize what a great person you are. You have a soul, you have a being, you are bringing light to somebody in this world. And just take a moment and go, you know what, I've got it. It may not feel like it, but I'm going to trust in it.
Perfect. You know, and I got to tell you that is very similar to how I handle it as well. I do a lot of the same things. Joe Williamson would like to know, where do you find the time to do all this extra work outside of your normal workday?
When it's something you enjoy, you find a time for it. When Corin was here, we were talking about going to school. I was a single parent. I ended up with 2 degrees and then a master's degree. You just find the time for things that are important to you.
I absolutely agree. You are getting an awful lot of agreement from the chat. And one of the things that, you know, that people are saying, I try to wake up positive every day. Samantha Shell, at least things take root, plant positivity, right on. Jen Lyle, I have something to look forward to tomorrow. Think before you react. There's just a whole lot of, and KZ Howell, exactly, Michelle, that you find the time. And, you know, I find that this has absolutely been amazing for me, just watching, because since we started doing the positivity segment, and you're pretty active on Twitter, I'm pretty sure you've probably noticed this too. We had some people that were always positive. Yes. And we had some people that struggled with positivity pretty regularly, and what I'm noticing is those people that were struggling on the regular with negativity are starting to shift over towards the positive all the time, which is awesome. We are there to support you. I mean, we're not perfect. We're going to have a bad day. As some of you know, I was severely ill over the weekend.
but I'm like, I'm going to get through this. I can get through this. And I sent something out. Normally I wouldn't send out something personal that I am not feeling well, but I needed the positivity from the group and I felt safe enough to ask for it.
And did you get it?
I did. I'm happy and healthy and wise.
That's terrific. Okay. So I'm looking to see, you've got a lot of agreement going on in the chat. So real quick, I am going to start inviting the guys in if you're ready. Is there anybody in particular that you'd like to shout out, or messages or an affirmation or anything like that while we're waiting on the guys to get in?
Something that people can think of, there's a way of being that's called wabi-sabi. I don't know if anybody's familiar with it. I believe it's Japanese. The basic premise of it is embrace imperfection. For me, that's very important. Again, I have a very structured life, a structured job. So to be able to embrace that piece is fine. It's a great concept. It's very simple, and just implement it.
That is terrific. All right, we got everybody that's starting to connect to audio.
What's up, Michelle? How are you?
How are you guys?
What's going on?
Doing good.
I'm doing well. Look at that beautiful sky.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Nice background, Chad.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing
jealous.
back here? I know. Yeah. So what's up, guys? How are you guys doing?
Everything's everything.
We've been talking about you guys. I don't know if you've been watching up till now. I know some of you guys have been in the chat, but we were talking. I was talking to Michelle about the little bit of video editing that I did for the live stream, and now she's taking that over, which frees me up to get some of this other stuff built. And we now have a new appreciation for you guys and all the work that goes into taking the footage that we have at the end of the Love America tour and turning it into the actual documentary or docuseries.
All right, good to go.
No, it's amazing. Just learning the little bit I have. Full new appreciation for you, for what you've done, for the industry, all of it.
Oh, no kidding. You hadn't had much experience with it previous?
I'm an accountant, so we don't do a whole lot other than attend Zoom meetings every so often.
Yeah.
You do some editing, though. You edit people's finances.
I can do numbers.
There you go.
I can do numbers.
I could use some fine editing on mine at this point too. I would say. Yeah.
Hey, I have accounting
We
skills.
all teach some editing.
Yes, we do. Totally. You can edit my finances, and we just keep it all hush hush. And I hope the IRS isn't listening.
I gotta tell you guys here, in a couple of months, I'm not even gonna go there just yet, but did you, any of you, in your wildest dreams, see this coming when the Love America tour first took off?
No. It was envisioned, but it was kind of like that train that doesn't blow his whistle until the last moment.
Corin, how about you?
I would have to agree with that. Yeah, I totally would have to agree with that. There was absolutely no telling what was going to come of it, but the level of enthusiasm, the support that we had and have had since then gave me the inkling that in all likelihood there would be a good result at the end.
Well, and I have to take a moment and say a special thank you to you guys, because you went well out of your way to include me on this. And not only do I truly appreciate it, it has changed my life. And so I thank you deeply.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that was, it wouldn't have been out of our way if Scott had been navigating the way that he was supposed to and didn't take us a completely completely wrong freeway. I don't even know.
It was a big U-turn. It was a massive northern to southern U-turn.
but at the end of the day, we kind of thought in the size of with the brake issues that we had and the size of the RV, it actually was probably safer, the route that we took, because it didn't go right up through the Ozarks and into the area of southern Missouri where you're at.
Mhm.
That was the initial plan, was to just snake right up through the middle of all the Ozarks there, up through Fayetteville and up by Beaver Lake, that whole area. But I think that we probably dodged a bullet having to go an hour and a half, 2 hours out of the way.
Totally. Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
You guys were worn out when you got here.
It would have been a bus with no brakes.
No, not good.
we've got a couple of kids that I'm hearing about. One, Petunia's daughter Charlotte says hi, and of course Sugarbug Bug is watching as
Okay,
well.
yeah.
So if you guys want to say anything to the kids that are watching.
Hey, what's up, Sugar Bug Bug? I hope school's going well. And hey, Charlotte.
What's up, y'all? We're all wondering what Bobby's eating.
Yeah,
Oh.
what is Bob eating?
I'm sorry, it's the Werther's original.
Well, we
Oh,
knew it
look
wasn't
at you.
Skittles.
Yeah, right. Wasn't no
It's
Skittles.
funny you say that. Someone gave me a bag of Skittles today.
Who?
But every time they give it to me, I just can't open it. I can't open it.
Maybe
Yeah.
It
if,
saved my life.
maybe if you and Katso get together, you can borrow some of his claws.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go.
I can't open it because my fingers don't work. I can't open it because it's the respect.
Oh, okay. I think, yeah,
Skittles
the
for Bobby.
respect.
Until you hand me those Skittles, I can't open a pack of Skittles. And if I close this up, hold on.
Oh,
You know
Hold
what
on.
we need to
Here
do?
we go. What's that?
We need to get Skittles to sponsor an RV with Skittles on the side of it and Skittles
Ooh.
War and all that.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice big, with a big cannon that just launches Skittles.
Oh yeah. That would be hilarious.
There it
is.
Instead of T-shirt, it
Hey,
just
we'll open
launches
them.
the rainbow.
Go ahead, pour them right
There
in
they
there,
are.
Bobby.
There's the bag.
Feel some type of way. Everybody's like, but we give you Skittles. I said, it's not the same.
It's not the
This
same.
has to be an on-air moment to open them with him.
Well,
And
those are
it's
share.
full
Those are
size.
share size.
Yeah.
They are share size. You see how big that bag is?
that's huge.
Right. I still can't open it. Son,
Hilarious.
listen, I'm loyal to my fans. I'm loyal to what we created. So until he puts it in my hand, can't touch it.
Can't touch it. That's like, yeah, can't touch this. Dun-dun-dun.
Right. How do you ever Listen, I want to say this. So, I'm always promoting something, I'm always seeing something. So today I was online and it said, where's the cast of Stargate? So I'm scrolling all the way up. I said, I know Corin's here somewhere. Sure enough, you get the little page, and actually here's the big page. It's huge. And as I'm reading, I'm like, man, it's like telling this man's life story. It's like we're roasting. But what does it say at the bottom? Currently what he's doing, the Love America tour.
All right.
I said, that means a lot to all of us because it says that we're making a difference. And that difference is going around the world. So
Good.
big ups to you, Corin, just for that article alone. But big ups to all of us because we're all going to make a difference.
Right
Totally.
on. Man. I love that.
That's definitely our goal, is to make a difference. It's probably it's actually one of the first things Corin and I talked about, is what kind of difference is this going to make when we do it? If it's not going to make a difference, it's vain. It's vanity.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
it's made a difference for me because I'm a little accountant wallflower in Southwest Missouri, and now I'm not only helping behind the scenes, we're chatting again. So, I mean, it's made a difference, a person at a time.
I love
And
it.
thank
I
you
love
for your work. Thank you so much.
I will
Well-
tell you guys, and this is not an exaggeration in the slightest, the work that Michelle is doing is the difference between me being able to pull this off and me not being able to pull this off.
it. I bet.
Like,
I
not
can
even close.
I imagine Husky cloning himself without you, like all the little minions just running around.
Yeah, it would be bad. It really would.
Well, and the sweet irony is they left my house to go to yours.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that's yes. That is
Yeah.
true, yes.
You were the next stop.
I've
The
got to
steaks
tell you
to
that
ribeyes, venison, and green beans, baked beans. Oh my god!
Yeah, that's well, we showed up to a spread on Husky's table that was just, I mean, borderline hilarious.
And
Now, if
then
I would
we
have known, I'd have gone along.
yeah, and
Good one.
Michelle had already fed us, and we were just like, oh, more food, yes.
Well, at least you didn't get sick.
hey,
No.
you got to come next time, Bobby. There was plenty
Actually, you
enough
know what?
steaks for everybody.
I was actually thinking that. I said the moment we get back on tour, I'll come and stay a week to wherever you guys are.
Oh,
I
all
love
right.
So
I
I'll
love it.
travel with you guys for a week, and I mean, because it's got to be fun. And I said I can't miss out, so I gotta go travel with you guys, just
Totally.
because for the fact to say, you know what, we get to interview everyone together, and then I'll probably get to have my Skittles.
You get to
So.
open. He just wants to open his Skittles, is what he wants to do. That's
I'm
that.
going to bring this bag of Skittles, this exact bag, with me the whole time. I'm going to mark the date on it.
We got two questions, and I'm going to read them out of order because one of them is kind of a rhetorical question. But Bonnie Bell goes, "What? No sushi?"
Oh,
Wow.
Low
Low blow.
No, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to test those waters anytime soon again. Unless
literally.
It's cool.
And then Tina wants to know, how was the deer? I don't know if any of you guys actually tried the venison steaks that were there.
It was great. It was very tasty. You could there was no wild game taste to it. Husky did a great job. Great job.
When I take the week off, that's where I'm going, is to get another one, so y'all can come back through and we'll have some more.
Nice.
I haven't had steak. I had the jerky. I've had the bologna. I've had.
I don't know about that deer bologna.
The deer bologna is very interesting. It's very interesting.
Is that code for something else that you probably don't want to say on the live stream?
Listen, I'm just going to say this. Unlike Corin sushi, it will give you mud butt.
Yeah, I bet so.
So it's not that cool. Not cool at all.
I mean, that's eyeballs, lips, and the other hooves.
Yeah, exactly. It's not cool at all. I had 3 days of leftovers.
Gonna send you a certificate, deer bologna, man. I survived deer bologna.
Everything should not be made out of deer meat. Everything should not be made out of deer meat.
No,
at all.
No.
The jerky was good. I mean, I could deal with the jerky all day. But when I got to the bologna, I said, "Oh, I'm gonna put some mayonnaise on it. I'm gonna do this. Has some lettuce, dude."
Yeah.
I bought those 3 days exactly what I earned. It was so horrible. I tried to fry it. I said, maybe it's just me. So the second day I fried it, I'm like, all right, this is good. No, it wasn't.
No.
I mean,
you couldn't even trick yourself into it, huh? You couldn't even trick your mind.
It's like when Corin did the Skittles and the pancakes. I died that day so bad because I'm like, watch, he's gonna eat this. And we're talking to him later, it was the nastiest crap ever.
Yeah, oh my heavens.
So,
Skittle pancakes, man. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Not.
Are you able to tell us about the project you're working on, Corin?
Well, the project I just finished working on.
Either of them.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, I just finished the film. Another Lifetime movie. Which I always love doing those. I probably have I've probably done, I don't know, 12 or 14 of them in the last 4 or 5 years or whatever it is. But then also we're working on a series to shoot down here in Mississippi with Jason London and I as the leads in, called Blackwater Blues, which is kind of a murder mystery type of series. And there have been some roles written for a few people that are on the stream right now. So that should be hopefully all of that will work out, and we'll end up doing some scripted work as well later on in the year. As far as Love America Tour goes, besides just I mean, we haven't even begun the editing process. We're still going through all of the footage and trying to see what we have, and we're still trying to track down some of the footage that we think has been left somewhere else other than the hard drive.
yeah.
But I think we'll be able to find everything. It's just it's a process. But then besides that, we've been discussing building out a small a podcasting stage, basically.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Possibly at 3 Alarm Comics, which is a good space for it. Or if we can find another space for it, we just don't want to have to spend any kind of rental cost or anything like that. But talking about building out a nice little podcasting stage, make it look rustic, make it look, give it that kind of Americana feel to it. Real simple though. But someplace where where you know where you are all the time, and people can become comfortable and familiar with it. So we'll see if we can make that happen. I'm talking to some builders right now, some guys I know, and seeing what they're willing to do and not to do. What that means is how much are they willing to do for free?
Yes, exactly. How much are you willing to donate for us?
How much
To
time do you
the
honestly
cause.
want to give us?
To the
How
cause.
many
man.
days do you want to get wet?
But Scott at 3 Alarm Comics, he said, without a doubt, we're welcome to build it in his shop and have it set up there, which is really nice of him. So we'll see what happens with that in the next week or so, and if we can pull the trigger on that, I think it would be really cool. I think it'd be granted, we have a great team that's down here in Mississippi, which has been a huge blessing. But it's kind of like the old saying, Plymouth Rock we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. We didn't land in Mississippi. Mississippi landed on us. We just ended up here, by a turn of financial events. So we're doing our best to make the best of it and do everything that we can down here to keep things moving, keep things going, even if we're in temporary living situations, which is obviously a daily stress for anybody who is in that situation.
Yeah, totally.
I know better. Yeah.
Joe Williamson from Facebook has an idea for the footage that you were talking about. He says, "Love America Tour, the lost tapes."
Oh, well, there may be some of those, possibly in my Google Photos.
yeah. You'll have to go
blooper
through
reel?
Google Photos and see what the heck is in there.
Yeah.
Samantha would like to know who in the feed has had West India curry.
I've had it, and let me tell you, I'm not a fan of anything hot.
I love
Let me
it.
tell you, my lips get as big as Luther Vandross. It's not cool at all.
Oh, yeah,
It's like
boy.
I start sweating, my lips get huge, and it's like I stutter. Anyone knows me, like I'm not the guy for anything hot. But please
So
tell
you're
me,
Mick
and then all
Jagger.
my friends won't tell me.
You go Mick Jagger on it.
Yeah, go and make
Dude,
Jagger
it's
with it, huh?
huge. It's huge, and then I'm just like, and it's like it's horrible. Yeah, it's not cool.
Oh man.
It's not a beautiful look.
Chad, I understand you've got a project coming up that's kind of a Love America Tour spin-off. Any developments there?
The Paranormal Chad. Yes, there are actually many developments. Corin's offered to help me out, so I appreciate that very much. Here in Mississippi, paranormal spots, as well as just paranormal covers a lot of things. It covers I guess like entities, orbs, just anything outside of normal, and that's what I'm focusing on, is outside of normal. So it won't be completely just hauntings or terror, but it will be weird, awkward, and fun most days, especially with my boy at my back there. So.
Awesome. Bobby, you got anything going on you want to shout out? What kind of projects are you working on?
I have November. We start shooting The Devil's Hand.
Ooh,
that sounds good.
Yeah, that's a very interesting thing. I play a character named Thomas Gibson.
Oh, nice.
It is actually really cool. It's a suspense drama, almost comedy, but it's going to blow your mind. In 2021, I have my 2 episodes for The Mayor of Easttown for HBO that comes out.
Cool.
I mean, I got like a lot of little stuff that's popping up everywhere, and I totally forgot that we filmed. And then someone says, you got to promote this, you got to promote that. So for me, it's like it's interesting because everyone says, "How is your work schedule even easy for you?" And I tell anyone, you have to make your schedule work for what you really want. So whether it's my movies, whether it's TV shows, whether it's Love American Tour, that's like 3 of my number one important things to me. It's like, let me put 110% behind those. Now my hospital stuff is great too, and I'm not taking it away for that. But my passion has always been in front or behind the camera. So I don't take nothing away. But when you have friends and different associates, we make magic together, and that's how you keep lifelong friends and keep entertaining the world.
That's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
that's
Michelle,
amazing, man.
Michelle, I know you just finished a large project. Did you want to mention that at all?
Are you referring to my work project?
Yeah, the big one that ended just the other day, so you have time to do stuff again?
We are actually working on our annual audit.
Oh,
So it's been interesting. I had a daughter graduate from college. She got married. She moved to Kansas City. Woo! We had an audit.
Oh, okay.
But just like Bobby Benn said, you find time for things that are important to you.
Yep.
you do.
Awesome.
You just
most
manage.
definitely do.
You just do.
Julie Walker, Corin, would like to know, based on what Chad was talking about, how are you with like paranormal / like scary stuff when it starts getting a little freaky? How are you with that?
I guess she hasn't seen some of my movies.
Didn't you play a demon?
Folks the ghost should be worried when I show up at the house.
That's right, man. That's why That's why I'm happy to have him with me, man. Woo!
Bring this all.
That's right.
When I show up, then you will never find a ghost because they're all hiding from me. So I'm the worst one to bring on a ghost.
Don't say that.
Hey guys, I don't
mind, but on that note, I've never really been a someone who's in fear of that kind of stuff. Have definitely had some weird experiences when I was younger, growing up, especially in Georgia, back in the woods, and some old rock quarry where there was a bunch of old buildings back in there, and an old mansion that was abandoned, and all kinds of stuff. I mean, there was some. And whether it was just, the overactive imagination of 10-year-olds, or not, there was definitely moments where, you felt there was a haunting happening, things were going on that didn't seem right. But it's never been something that's caused me to back away from it, or to, be in fear of it or anything like that. I think it's far more of something that's of interest than anything else. There's definitely like Chad was. I mean, there's a lot more to paranormal than ghosts. But I think it's a very interesting subject, and obviously it is, because you can see how many films and TV shows and magazines have all been centered around just that subject alone. And,
ones that are performing very well. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Chad, are you doing the theme song for it?
I am. Yes, actually, I let Corin hear it the other night.
Yeah,
Awesome.
sounding rad. Sounding very rad. Rad Chad.
Yep, Rad Chad. There we go.
Okay, guys.
It's great. It's great. And to cut off what Corin said, man, there was this spot back when I was about the same age, and it was just this old rundown house in the middle of nowhere. And I could have swore the Raggedy Ann and Andy wallpaper were like moving. It was scary when you're a kid, man. You can imagine a lot of things, but when you become an adult, it's more show me the proof. But that doesn't change the fact that things do happen and you can't explain them.
I don't know, man. I'm almost 50, and if the wallpaper is moving on its own, I'm a bit concerned.
That's just water behind your wallpaper. That's all it is.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna check the date on the milk I just drank.
Yeah. I'm gonna make sure those shrooms on the pizza, really came from Domino's.
But guys, this is the time in the stream where I let you guys know it's 8 o'clock. We know that everybody's busy and has stuff. If
Yep.
you want to stick around and shoot the breeze, you're more than welcome. But we've done the hour, so if you have to get off,
Yeah,
anytime
gotta
you guys got to get out of here is
I
good.
gotta I gotta get back to work. So you guys, love you all. Thank you for showing up. As always, I'm humbled and good game. I'm out of here, guys.
Have a
Hey,
good one,
one
Nice
thing
to
Ted.
I want
talk
to
to you,
later on.
brother.
Sorry,
Say
Corin.
again?
If there's some more if there's a few questions that are out there from anybody in the chat, certainly love to catch up with that. I have several auditions that I have to record, and again I've been writing that the show for Blackwater Blues down here and working with Artie. So there's no shortage of things that I can do. But I'd love to answer any more possible curiosities or questions that anybody else has out there, or anything
I
that you
got
might
tons
have
of questions.
on your mind.
I'm going to prove to everybody I'm a true fan. I don't know if this will show up or not.
Yeah, buddy,
Here we go. You're a fan.
Yep.
I love it.
It's real.
I thought you were gonna pull up one of those paper masks of my face and like put it over her own.
No, I got that in the other room.
Oh yes, that's true. I love that.
Yeah, I gotta say, and I said this to one of my associates the other day. They said to me, "It says, what makes you continue to keep doing what you're doing?" They said, as an actor, and they said, with all the COVID and everything going on, what makes you keep going? I said, because we look at life as everyone who sees us as actors think that we have money, think that we're the snooty Snyder type. And I said, we're not. I said, we're regular normal people. I said, the difference is that some people may live more than their means than other people, and some of us is just normal. What makes me different is the people. I care about the fans. I care about everyone else, because without the fans, there's no us. Without anyone who looks at a movie or sees a TV show, they become a fan. I'm a fan of Corin. I've been a fan of Corin since I was, I don't know, a kid. Parker Lewis was like my thing. I grew up like, damn, so I can't wait to watch the next episode.
Right on.
I kept saying, when is Kubiak going to join Jack Up Corin? So it was always a different moment for me. So then I became an actor, but then I had to take pieces from other people's things I've seen being actors and say, you don't see them in the limelight. You know how rare it was to see Corin in the limelight? It's like, if you read a magazine and it had something to do with graffiti, Corin may have been in it. But it's rare. And I always took that from people like him, because I said to myself, I don't want to be the one where TMZ is following me. I want to be the one where I never had to worry about that. So to answer anyone's questions, follow your passion, your dream, but be you. Don't let someone create or make you to someone that you're never going to be.
Okay.
Last question on that one. Last one. Corin, in Philly, when you do ever get here, we have some of the greatest graffiti walls ever.
Ooh, nice. Nice.
Yes.
We do
I
have.
see that too.
We'll travel.
By the way, I've got some Buddha coming, and I've got some sleep coming.
We have two questions actually from the last stream that I wasn't able to get to because of technical difficulties. And Samuel Mum asked, are you guys involved in any virtual cons that are upcoming?
I actually have one, the first one that I've engaged in, which is Wales Comic Con. They're doing a Twitch one, which I'm really I've tried to figure out exactly how it works, but I am a Technosaurus. I'm sure I'll have it figured out by this weekend, but Saturday and Sunday, they'll be doing the Wales Comic Con online convention. I don't even know how these things work, but somehow, some way, there will be. I'll be there. I don't know where I'll be, but I'll be somewhere in the Twitchverse.
Exactly.
But my buddy Jamie, who runs the Wales Comic Con, he's just a really great guy. He's always done an incredible show. If anybody ever, once they do finally start letting us go to conventions again, then that's one that I would highly recommend anybody to go to, especially to take a trip over to Wales. It's now in Telford instead of where it used to be, which Telford is a lovely town, and it's extremely well run. Great staff there. And just, you know, I've gone to it, I think maybe five or so times over the years, and always been a great trip. So we'll see what happens on the online thing. I'm not, you know, I turned down several of them early on, which was probably foolish of me, but I just felt it was weird. You know, the whole thing was weird, is what I felt. You know what I mean? It was just strange to not have that physical interaction, to be able to do a photo ops, to be able to do the Q&As, and to have the interactions at the table. You know, it just seemed like, how can it be personal? You know,
Yeah,
so we'll see. We'll see what happens, but that it'll be the first one I've done, and that'll be this weekend.
That's
Well,
right.
I
I've
agree.
I got
I
to tell
agree.
you that Wales is where my family hails from, just outside the Cardiff area where the Tredegar House is. So I'll definitely be checking that one out.
Oh, cool.
Well, I'm going to tell you guys, I've one upped my bucket list. Since you've actually been here, I've got the art. The next thing on the list is sometime, either one of you, I want to be behind the scenes on a shoot. I want to just watch from the sidelines, see how it happens. I've just got the bug. It just fascinates me.
It's cool. I think once you get your first picture in, and once you start seeing, it's like, I gotta do it again and again and again. But just remember, every time you do it again, the challenges get bigger, the challenges get different. You're gonna be shooting in the cold, the rain, and everything. And then you're gonna actually sit there and say, why am I doing this to myself? And for 15 hours, you're gonna be sitting there like, is this over? The first 5 hours, I got this. The next 7 hours, maybe. And you finally get down to your last hour, you're gonna be sitting there freezing your behind off, or you're gonna be boiled in sweat. And then every time, and I tell this to everyone, no matter what you do, whatever your line is, you never do the line the same exact way. And then by the time you finally make that line, that one, he'll say, I need one more for safety. No, I just delivered that line. So trust me, it is fun. It is fun. Once you get to do it, I promise you, it's an addiction. It's
So
true addiction.
it's just
There's
fascinating.
there's another question that's being asked by a lot of people in the chat, and I'm going to take the first part of it, and then Corin, if you'd kind of follow up with any additional details, because it gets asked almost every time around, is when is part 2 going to kick off, the second part of the tour? And guys, I know that we've been talking about getting the second part kicked off, but what the guys have to do is turn this into a documentary and a docuseries, and that being sold to a network or sold to a production company or something is going to fund the next part. Is that how that works, Corin?
Well, you know, it's an option, because I really personally want to try and figure out a way to fund the second round without having to go the full second round. You know, we have the beginning financing, which is being directed towards professional editing, and you know, some upgrading of software, hardware, whatever, you know, this kind of thing. But and then having it there ready to go for to go ahead and pull the trigger on an RV rental or whatnot. Um, you know, when you look at what it was that we had to raise to barely get through the last round, and honestly, the physical condition I was in by the time we finished that, you know, I mean, I was really worn thin, and it was not a, the best parts about the whole trip were the interviews. That's when I was finally like, oh, okay, great, this all makes sense. Everything's okay. We're cool. This is what it's about. You know, a lot of the stuff in between all of that was really tough to manage and get through, and all of that. But that said, you know, if we can find a way to not have to rely on financing through, you know, money raises on the internet, whether GoFundMe or anything else, if we can do that and keep the money in everybody's pockets, you know, where I know everybody needs it most, um, then that's what we're going to do. We can't do that until we have the right product to show, in order to see if we can generate, you know, interest from a network, or interest from a single investor, like somebody who's a sponsor, and then do it right, and do it with the right amount of money, you know, not running on fumes like that. I mean, you know, if we had double the amount, I think that would have put us in a situation where things could have slowed down a little bit. We could have had, hired some pro cameramen. We could have done more of the adventurous side of things. There's a lot more that could have been done that was just almost impossible to achieve under the time constraints, and especially the time constraints that we were under. Again, Husky and the team, no one really came on board until after week 2, going on into week 3, before anybody was even starting to help on the logistics side. So and like I said, I pretty much was doing all of that. I was pretty much the one checking the DMs on Twitter, checking the emails on Love America Tour to Tenota, emailing people back, figuring out where we were going to go. I mean, I was pretty much, unfortunately, doing most of that myself, which was exhausting, I can assure you. But once we got some other people involved, and it alleviated some of that pressure, and some phone calls were being made ahead of time, and things were being scheduled for us. It was like, wow, and that really didn't happen until we got, I mean, really, I think the first RV spot that I didn't book myself was Camp Journeys Inn in Mississippi, which was like, it was just amazing to get a phone call from Kat saying, hey, this is where you're staying, this is when you're checking in, this is who you're talking to when you get there. I was like, what? This is a miracle. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, if it could have been that way the whole time. But so I personally would have preferred us to have been able to go ahead and get the amount of money that we need to get on the second round already. The fundraiser that we just finished, it took quite a long time to get it up to even where we had it, which was extremely low, and nowhere near what we had to raise for round 1. So my concern is that if we kept pushing it in that direction, that we might lose more enthusiasm than gain, and I felt it was, when talking with the team, it was best to kind of regroup, get something edited and put together that looks great, that tells the whole story, and then from there see what we can do to raise the money outside of the internet, from especially from network or corporate sources, which I know I originally said I didn't want to do, but because I don't want to be beholden to anybody. But when we finish the content, when everything is so wholesome, everything is so clean, there's no agenda to it, there's no left or right, there's no, you know what I mean, there's no politics mixed up in it, it's just straight down the middle, good, wholesome entertainment with a great value to it in terms of what you get out of it, And again, I can tell by watching the numbers on YouTube, it's one of those things that has to be a paradigm shift as well. If you can spend all day binge watching a show on Netflix, and you can't spend 45 minutes to an hour getting to know somebody that you've never met before,
Right.
then you got to look at that yourself. You know what I mean? And decide, what is it that I think is entertainment? What is it that I think is important? And go from there. Because when like I've said before, when I got feedback saying, oh, you should interview this famous person or that famous person or whatever, it's like, why is their story any more significant or interesting than anybody else's story? Because like Bobby said, we're workers like anybody else is a worker. You just happen to be acting, but it's still a job. It's still,
Right.
it's still a title, and you're still employed, and you know what I mean. So it's an interesting job, and a very fun job, But at the end of the day, it's a job. So everybody has a story on how they got to wherever they are, and what they had to overcome to get there, and what they're still having to overcome to stay there, or whatever the case may be. So I mean, I have found when I was doing the interviews, I was just, I mean, some of the twists and turns of people's lives were absolutely mind blowing to me, like it was just, you would just never guess what some people have gone through, and are still standing up, on 2 feet, strong, solid, great people, great outlook on life, super positive, but have been through their own personal hells. And
Right.
and it's how we overcome all of that that really, really sharpens our character. And I think that the more that we can get to know one another's story, you know, even if it's on a personal level, like when you're out. So let's say you like to go to a local restaurant or local cafe or local coffee shop,
Hmm.
to do your work. Well, what about, instead of sitting there alone reading or doing something like that, next time, find somebody who seems interesting, sit down, talk to them, and find out their story, find out their life
Yeah.
story. Why not? You
I
know,
gotta
I do that all the time. People probably get annoyed by me.
I gotta let you know that Bonnie, oh God, I had it, has mentioned, what can we do to help? What can we do to help with the final wrap? And that was kind of what I had started off in the first place, is that was one of the recommendations that came into the poll. I'm going to be sending an email to the rest of the team outlining kind of maybe what we need to, how we can make use of all of the people that want to volunteer and do stuff. And so you'll get that in the email tomorrow, and then you can answer it just whenever you have time. And then I've got one more question that came in from last week, and we'll call it done unless you guys just care to shoot the breeze some more. But Marlene asked, and it's a really good question, what have you learned about yourself during the Love America tour?
Me personally, you know, I don't want to say that it's as much as I learned about myself, but it's that I learned that all of us have a similar through line in life, in terms of what the arc was to getting to where we are today. And when I recognized that it didn't matter. Some people grew up in a kind of silver spoon environment. Some people grew up
Hmm.
absolutely flat broke. Some people grew up right down the middle. But you know what? All three of those people had such unbelievably similar and almost mirrored kind of experiences that I realized that, like, the only separation that's really out there is a separation that we put out there ourselves between us.
Amen.
You
Right.
know, it's those considerations. So somebody who's wealthy will look at somebody poor and think, oh, I don't want to hang around that person. Or some, broke people to be like, I grew up with a bunch of broke people. They didn't want to hang out with
Mhm.
rich people. It was the last person they wanted to
Right.
hang out with. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And then, or it's like, the nerd doesn't want to hang out with the rocker. The punk rocker doesn't want to hang out with a hip hopper. The
Right.
whatever. And well, oddly enough, what I learned in the graffiti scene growing up, because the graffiti scene was full of all of those characters. And in a graffiti crew, you had the hip hopper, you had the stoner rocker dude, you had the punk rocker, you had the nerd, and everybody was in the graffiti crew together because we were all part of, this artistic expression that crossed all of those boundaries. And so, when I'm looking at it now, it's like that's exactly, I feel like, where we need to come to more as, in the community that we're developing. We're already scratching the surface, if not already
Mhm.
digging it away completely, in recognizing the fact that through communication, through mutual respect for one another, and through a genuine common interest in each other's stories, we can cross all of the bridges that have been raised, and to keep us from crossing. You know what I mean? We can make that happen ourselves, but we have to get into communication with one another.
I
Michelle?
agree.
Pardon?
And on the communication note, I know I haven't been very responsive on Twitter lately and all of that. I haven't been able to catch up with it as much as I used to. But I got a lot going on in my personal life right now to try and figure some things out to get myself on some type of even ground where I'm not couch surfing at 48. You know what I'm saying? So so don't think that it's that it's anything personal. I gotta focus and handle some areas of life right now. I'm thinking about everybody, and I jump on there when I can, And but I mean, just even yesterday, I jumped on there, and there's some clown out there who just loves to harass me, especially about the Love America tour thing, and it doesn't bother me. But when I go on there, I'm like, oh God, this, you know what I'm saying? After everything we went through, this guy is still busting my balls.
My delete button is really good.
Michelle, what have you learned about yourself during the Love America tour?
That I need to listen more. I need to listen to the people around me, because I think that can open up bigger channels. Like you said, Corin, you don't make assumptions. I try to keep an open mind, but I don't know these people. I haven't walked in their shoes. So why don't I just listen to their story?
Love it.
It's just simple.
It is.
What I learned about myself during the Love America tour is short and sweet, and it actually is pretty introspective. Is when you got here, Corin, you saw that I was about done. I was about
ready to move to the woods and call it quits.
Yeah. I learned that I've got more to give.
Yep.
I've still got more to give, and so that's brought me back to life, to be honest with you, because I was ready to just go live in the woods, go hunting, go fishing, not deal with anybody, and that's what it taught me. Bobby?
Well, family. Love America Tour is one of those things that we all have in us before it was even given a name. But it took Corin to actually open that door and say, we're using term love to bring everyone together. Now, we picked 2020, and I call this the year of the blip. I call this the year of hell. But Corin gave you a reason to say, this is about family. It's about that love. So whenever I look at this, and I said, when Corin said this, and I piggyback what I said last week, when Corin started this, Corin was like skeptical on it. And I said to him, brother, just have faith. This is going to work. And I said, I have faith in it. So every time I even talk to people on Twitter, I always give a positive message to everyone, no matter how bad my day is, no matter how bad something may seem. And there's been many times on Corin's feed that somebody would say something, and I'll jump on Corin's feed. I'm like, nah, not this guy. I'll defend this guy. I'll get the shirt off my back for this brother. I said,
That would be
no
a
way in
big
the
shirt,
world.
though. It looked like it dropped on me.
Well, yeah, yes. But see, and here's the thing. You're 48, I'm 47. I'll tell anyone. See, my story was always different. I didn't always have the life that I lived. I've been homeless. I slept on couches. I slept in my truck. And I'll tell anyone. I said, before I got to where I've been married and divorced twice. But I tell people, you have to fall so far to the bottom to get to the top, but it takes family. And family could be the complete stranger in the entire world. But when you get the family, you get that love, that's the thing that keeps you afloat. So when I see the Love America Tour, I see people, I see family, I see all these different people we met on Twitter as family. There's no strangers. We grow close to them. We hear about the stories about your pets, the kids, the graduations, the marriages, the love. We hear that and we congratulate you. So there's no, our status of being an actor or whatever, singer or whatever, doesn't change who we are. That love still stays the same. So when I see anyone on Twitter, I tell everyone, I always, or most times try to end it, I love everyone. There's nothing different. That'll never change.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
I think that's a perfect place to end the stream, to be honest with you. Corin, you want to take us out? You got anything last thoughts before you get back to work?
Man, I don't know. I can't top what Bobby just said. I'm not even gonna try.
All right, well, guys, it's been fun. I love having you on. Can't wait till see you guys on Saturday, and appreciate it. And guys, what a stream! What a positive, uplifting stream. I've enjoyed this.
Right. Love y'all.
All right, guys. I love you back.
Thanks for including me.
Absolutely, Michelle. Thank you for doing what you do.
All right, Michelle, have a good one. We're gonna see you.
Right back at you.
Good night, guys.
Positive.
Oh, positive is where we live.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Think. Well, that's much more gooder.